5 things that we have found that's helped Ollie with routine change since being diagnosed with autism in 2019. So I'd say that our number one thing would be to realise that non-verbal does not mean non-understanding. And once we realised that and started talking to Ollie more, he's really come on leaps and bounds, and his understanding level has come on leaps and bounds too. So, for instance, if Ollie has, let's say, a hair appointment or a dentist appointment, we will probably talk about this about 3 or 4 times before his actual appointment is, here. So, for instance, probably the week before, I would mention to Ollie something like, "Oh, you've got a hair appointment or a dentist appointment next week, Obear. But don't worry, mate. We'll all go together. We'll sit in your chair. We won't bother with the gown because we've figured out that the gown is a trigger. If you'd like us to talk about haircuts in a separate video, I'm more than happy to do that. But yeah, back to this video. So that's what we would normally do. And then on the day before, I would say, when I'm putting him to bed, I'd say, Ollie, tomorrow you're going to get your hair cut, mate. And, make sure that I sound really optimistic and happy about that, to reduce any kind of anxiety that he might have or any kind of fears that he might have regarding this. And then in the morning when we wake up, we'll have our normal morning hugs. And then I'd kind of broach it into the subject of, today, mate, this is what we're going to do. Because usually we go through the plan of what we're going to do today anyway, unless it's simply we don't have a clue. So yeah, we prepare him that way. And then Ollie is very set on routes. So he knows where he's going with certain routes. So, for instance, for the dentist, instead of going in a straight line to the dentist, we would go kind of round the houses and round the cul-de-sacs and go the longer way round. So then he knows that he's going to the dentist and he will process it on the way. And obviously I would talk to him about it as well as we're driving. And say, talk through the process, talk about what's going to happen, what equipment would be used, what noises might be there, what lighting might be there, what the staff will do, and the fact that I'll be there and majority of the time Matt's there too to help. So he knows he's got our full support. And over the time, now, for instance, Ollie will kind of just go into the hairdressers and he'll just go sit in the chair. You can still see that he's got anxiety over this, but it's severely reduced compared to how he used to be with haircuts. So yeah, that's one of the main things that I would say is just talk your child or your person through the process, give them fair warning, not too much warning, because sometimes too much warning they just kind of hyperfixate and get really anxious about this. So yeah, I would really say talk them through, allow them to process. Sometimes you can use images as well. They can be really helpful. Sometimes with Ollie I've used miming to cut my hair, or I've tapped my teeth to say dentist. So you can really adapt it to what you've got around you as well, which is really helpful. So yeah, I'd say that's my first top tip. The second thing that I found that's helped Ollie as well, and I just want to clarify that this is no ad at all or any sponsorship or anything like that, but the Bose headphones, honestly, they've been a godsend for us. We decided to splurge one year. We actually got them through Currys, where you can pay in 6 months. So you pay nothing now and you pay within the 6 months with no interest rate. So that's what we did. And yeah, I think we paid £250, £150, something like that. And yeah, they're absolutely amazing. You have the choice whether or not you want noise cancellation on, or if you just want them as a little dull kind of effect. And we can also sometimes if he's in a really loud situation where he wants his phone as well, for YouTube, or his iPad, because yes, we are an iPad family. We don't like it, but it's a regulation. Anyway, so yeah, we can hook him up to his phone or his iPad via Bluetooth, and yeah, he can then also listen to his things and regulate that way, which is also, again, how we manage to get his haircut sometimes. So yeah, I would always say, like, if you have the time to splurge, if you know that your child would use defenders and stuff like that, then we would always recommend the Bose headphones. They also fold away into a nice little case, and I won't even lie, they've been, thrown on the floor a few times and they have survived so far. So, they are a bit more, I wouldn't say they're like, full on durable, because his set at school did break, but that was being thrown on the courtyard, I believe. But with us, when they've had a few drops to the ground and stuff, they've been completely fine. And I do think they're a little bit water resistant too, but please don't quote me on that. I'd have to look into it. So yeah, that would be tip number 2, would be some kind of like noise reducing. Like, you don't have to splurge on the Bose headphones. Like, I think you can get some like nice ear defenders for like 20, maybe 30 quid on Amazon. You can shop around and stuff like that. But again, I do favour the Bose. So yeah, that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 as well, I would say any kind of comfort item that they may have, really make sure that they've got that. I mean, I feel like this is just kind of an obvious one, but I will throw it also in here. So for instance, Ollie has always been kind of like onto teddy bears. So first it was Ellie from Pochio. We had her. I remember when he lost her at nursery and he slept with her and everything, and I was like, what do I do? But luckily she was found. We also lost her in Tenerife too, so yeah. I would say also get backups, like duplicates of the same thing, just in case, because we also got a monkey once from the Audi event, and I've never been able to find that monkey again, and luckily he came off it pretty much as quick as he went on it, and it wasn't such a big hoo-ha. But yeah, at the minute he's enjoying like his sleepy Pokemon teddies, and he's got a massive Stitch Squishmallow that really severely needs a good wash, but I don't even think it's going to fit in my washing machine. But yeah, so I would say like some kind of comfort item, whether that be a soft toy, a book, music. What else could you have? Like snacks, you could have safe foods. Certain phrases, they could be calming as well, like repetition. So anything that they kind of find calming and soothing, I would really suggest to incorporate that into the routine change too. My tip number 4 would be allow them time to process. So, for instance, if it is going into somewhere that they've not really been before. So, for instance, we took Ollie once to a sensory room, and it had Santa in there, and the room was too dark. So, we allowed him to process. We asked for the door to stay open. They didn't, but if they did, it would have helped. So, make sure that the door was still open, so he was still letting some light in. He knew he had the freedom to leave if he wanted to. So I think as well, like, just making sure they know they've got that option to leave. They've got that option to back out if they need it, but also having that little nudge to say, actually, I believe in you. I think you can do this. You've got this kind of thing. And as well, I think since we've been doing that with Ollie as well, it's really been helping him push himself. Like, he started to learn where his own limits are. He can tolerate a lot more now, and he's happier with doing more things. And my 5th and final tip would be we give Ollie little rewards when he's done things that we know that he's not happy about. So again, I know I keep mentioning the dentist and haircuts, but they're just an easy explanation for us. So, for instance, if he's gone to the dentist, maybe would go for a nice walk after, let him regulate, take his mind off it, and, calm down, and he's got free open space to kind of roam around. If he needs to throw things to get a bit of, that regulation there, then he's got that free space where he's not going to be told off with being dangerous anywhere. or the potential of things being broken. And also, or if we've been for a haircut, and we can't go somewhere nice, then maybe, a nice snack. We're like, oh, would you like to go choose what you'd like to eat? So whether that, be a McDonald's or a KFC, we will show him images, and he will choose what he wants. Or say if we go to the shop and we're like, okay, pick a sweet treat, Ollie. What would you like? Would you like a donut? Would you like some sweets? Like ice cream? Like what would you like? So then he knows as well that, we're proud of him. He's done a really good job, which obviously we do voice as well. And yeah, they are our 5 top tips that we've kind of found that's helped us. I hope that they help you if you are new into the ASD world, and welcome as well if you are new in the ASD world. It's not as scary as it seems. I think the more understanding that we have, the easier it is on us and our individuals. And hopefully over the year we can, find tips and tricks that we found, that you found, and we can all just share this together. So again, thank you for sticking with, if you've stuck with. Bit of a different video, but this is kind of more what we want to do as well. And a little side note about the van. So we need to get it reweighed again. So that will be a video on its own, which hopefully we'll be getting it reweighed at the end of Feb. But yeah, thank you for sticking with us, and hope to see you on the next one. Bye!